knife, I'm going to cut along the pattern. Cutting at an angle, and the reason for that is that as this is going to be, I know this is going to be the bottom of the piece and the other side is going to be the top of the piece. So I'm going to have that pattern in the piece, and what I'm looking for as the line on the inside of the piece is coming to the edge of the piece, I want it to be a kind of a continuous line. So if I beveled it here, the bevel would be up on this edge. So I beveled on the, essentially I'm cutting this in this direction at a slight bevel. And then when the piece is inverted, I have a nice clean kind of continuous line on the top edge. And I roll this edge down a little bit, either with a brayer, so when it's in a leather hard stage, I'll be rolling this edge down so that the line comes out and it just rolls over a little bit. And I think part of what I feel is really important in my work is the sensibility of the edge and how it carries the intention and the information on the piece. So the slab folded tray has been laid out in the clay and gotten to be to a stage of leather hard. And I'm going to fold this up now, but one of the difficulties as I start to work in a larger scale with this, so this size or larger, is how do you support it during the drying process. And originally it was paper pattern, and I found that the paper wouldn't support it. I tried some tar paper, that wouldn't support it. I found this fiberglass roofing material that's flexible, and in a way it's very similar to paper. That is, I cut that pattern and then fold it up and bring it together. It will assume a three-dimensional volumetric form. And I just use duct tape to tape it together, hold it together, and so I can duplicate my form and provide support for it while it goes through the next drying stage. So what I usually do, again, I'm using chuck, and that has an angle kind of thrown into it. I'll just set that aside or inside of that piece. And then I'm going to slip and score the two edges of the pieces that are going to come together. This piece is still soft, so I don't really need to deal with the edges. If you're in a real dry climate, sometimes the edges will dry and you might want to just put a little moisture on them to keep them soft and pliable as you go through this flexing process, because these are going to become curved in space. And I want to be real careful with this seam because I like it. It's something I want to preserve through the entire process. I'm going to push it down a little bit with that. I'm going to take my brayer and just kind of gently roll that. And I like the asymmetry, the way the two pieces of clay come together but don't necessarily line up. And as I spoke, I like the continuity of the line that goes from the center. It has a particular kind of tension to it, and I'm looking for this very architectural edge quality. Right now it's really sharp, and if you glaze that it would continue to be sharp and quite fragile. So what I'll do is take the brayer or the soft part of my hand, and I'm just going to go along and roll this very softly kind of to the outside to soften the line and to bring the line out and over a little bit. And I will take the sock that we used in some of the other pieces and kind of make a more of a pointy tip to it. I'm just going to softly work on that seam a little bit to bring the edges over. And then the last step for the edges of the overall tray is just take a Sureform file again. And I'm not going to do a lot of carving, but I'm just going to take it and soften some of the burrs that are on the edges.